Viewer discretion is advised.
Louisiana's top prosecutor is taking on one of the most popular online sites for teens and kids, Roblox.
Attorney General Liz Murrill says the platform has become a hunting ground for predators, and now she's taking her fight to court.
I genuinely cannot believe what I'm seeing from Roblox because everything they're doing seems so illogical and so backwards, and it all makes no sense. For whatever reason, Roblox is continuously shooting themselves in the foot with poor responses and acting against Schlepp supporters. They're making new enemies by the second, from players and parents to big social media influencers and even politicians.
Can't believe how fast the Schlepp versus Roblox situation is escalating, because what's come out recently is absolutely insane. Star creators are dropping out one after another, including Creecraft, who's basically the face of Roblox YouTube. On top of that, Schlepp is officially lawyering up, teaming up with a massive law firm to take on Roblox and expose them from the inside out.
This video is actually a call for help, and I need everybody to share this video. The Roblox Corporation has sent a cease and desist letter to me, a 22-year-old, versus a multi-billion-dollar company, threats of litigation, because I catch predators on their platform. Within the last year, me and my team have gotten 6 predators arrested within the Roblox community. Almost all of them have admitted to doing this before to other Roblox users. Every account that I've owned on Roblox since I was 8 years old has been terminated. Accounts that we were actively talking to predators on have now been banned off of Roblox. What Roblox did could potentially stop some predators from facing real-life consequences. Not to mention that Roblox has made a very firm stance that I can no longer access the Roblox platform anymore, which I want to make clear at the start of this video. I will not be accessing Roblox in any capacity at this point further unless Roblox says otherwise.
I never imagined that Roblox would be in the news. I mean, maybe it has been in the past, I don't know. But what's crazy to me, and I think the reason why they're coming under so much fire, is because they went after a YouTuber and are going after several people who are calling out individuals using the platform so they can prey on minors.
Regarding Schlepp and Gideon has recently been turned up a notch, as Roblox themselves have responded, and it's honestly pathetic. We are sharing more information about why it was necessary to remove vigilantes from Roblox, and the ways in which we review and act on reports of abuse on Roblox. While seemingly well-intentioned, the vigilantes we've banned have taken actions that are both unacceptable and create an unsafe environment for users. Oh my god, the irony is off the charts with this one.
Is a problem here, and it doesn't seem like they're doing enough. Then they go on to talk about like just how many messages and how many users are on Roblox. Again, I understand there's millions and millions and a lot to go through, a lot to comb through, which is why, again, I don't understand why they wouldn't be extending an olive branch to the vigilante groups who are clearly doing a good job at catching real predators that are on their platform.
So yeah, I don't understand why this should even be an issue for the CEO of Roblox or anybody with any vested interest in Roblox, because do these people not understand that by going after the people calling it out and trying to take care of the problem, which Roblox clearly isn't doing, that you're actually making yourself look as though you might be one of the people who are okay with preying on children? It looks very bad. I mean, maybe Roblox is trying and they have things in place, but clearly it's not working well enough. I don't know why we're in this modern era now of protecting criminals and demonizing good civilians. And I think what people don't realize is that a government cannot control every single citizen. If all the citizens decide to get up and say, okay, enough is enough, no more, and they all came together, even like if they had no firearms or anything, trust me, with as many people as there are compared to how many officials there are, they quickly get overrun real fast. Yes, there'd be a few of the citizens that would bite the dust, but I promise you, with that many people swarming, nobody could do anything about it. No amount of firepower, unless you have as many soldiers as you do citizens, which you do not. That's why the government fights for control so hard, because they know that once they lose it and the people have power, which they usually always did, it wasn't a problem. It's a problem for them. They don't have the power and they can't control the people, if that's the case, if they can't control the people. But the thing is, the more you tighten the noose around the neck of the people, the more they frantically struggle and start to realize, damn, something seems to be strangling me, because no matter how much I try to breathe, it just keeps getting tighter, indicating to them that somebody's pulling the literal string in that scenario. And one way that you will get the people to turn on you is when you don't protect them. When you tell them you're going to protect them and you say, we're taking away some of your rights. Just a little bit of them. Bending the rules a little bit so that we can give you more surveillance, more protection in return for your votes and a little bit of your privacy, or maybe a lot of it, and not tell you everything. All in all, the populace has become so large that I can guarantee you the government doesn't give a damn about the people. They care about the power because they have so much of it, because there's so many people, and the pot has gotten so big to the point where people are like numbers, no longer individuals. These really big corporations, studios, Governments will utilize the people themselves to keep other people in check, but only when it fits their narrative. And I'm not saying all of the government's bad. I'm not saying that every single government official is bad. I'm talking about certain branches of the government or certain people in the government. But I think the government as an entity is not something you ever want to give total control over the people. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. This is famously used by Abraham Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address. And the whole reason why he said that really made me wonder why the hell he was actually taken out. But anyway, his whole thing was that the authority of the government is supposed to come from its citizens. People should not be afraid of their government. The government should fear the people. For the people means that the government's purpose is to serve and protect the needs, rights, and interests of the citizens. I'm going somewhere with this, don't worry. But it's not to benefit a ruling class, a single leader, or a small elite of dudes, which is a lot of what it's doing nowadays. And people just turn a blind eye because we're all distracted by the newest technology. They always have something brand new that the people can be distracted by. But now, take away their ability to own things, and you further control them more, and they don't even realize it. Just keep them more distracted. And the thing is that people don't realize that tyranny doesn't come overnight. It comes in gradual, very painstakingly slow droplets from different holes in the proverbial roof. At first, you barely notice it. Slow boiling frog, but over time, small separate drips from the different spots in that roof weaken the whole structure until the ceiling inevitably caves in. One of those cracks? Big corporations with way too much power and influence, especially the ones that basically have a monopoly over certain parts of people's lives. For example, which has a giant grip on the online world, especially when it comes to children. And they are so powerful, or think that they are, that they have the audacity to decide what is okay to say and what is not okay. And they also have the audacity to decide who they're going to protect. And no surprise, it's not the good-doing citizens. It's not the children. It seems as though, with all the evidence we've seen so far, that they're protecting, or seem to be protecting, the people going after the children. I mean, that should tell you something. I'm not going to say what that is, but it should tell you something. Because what it seems like they're saying is, oh, our control and reputation matter more than your safety or your kid's safety, even though they're clearly damaging their reputation by doing this. And the scary part is, this isn't just about Roblox. Once you accept that a company can silence people, a body of a corporation or whatever it is, can silence people, choose which problems to ignore and punish the ones calling out bad behavior, especially by those big corporations themselves, you're opening the door for other companies and even governments to do exactly the same thing. And each time it happens, people lose a little more power and a little more and a little more to even protect themselves. It's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. First it's, oh, we can't let you talk about this. Then it's, oh, well, we'll deplatform you. Then it's, well, you can't bank with us. Then it's, we'll decide what you need to know. And then before long, you're completely dependent on them to decide what's safe and what's true. And that's how you get tyranny. And it's not like people think it's overnight. This person's going to be a tyrant. No, it's not, doesn't work like that. But it happens in these very small, gradual, cut, nick, push, shove, take, steal, these very quiet ways that start to add up until the people don't have a say anymore. They don't even realize it's happening until it's too late.
To fucking, like the gas station today. And they said on the radio that if your kid got groomed on Roblox, I'm not even kidding you, to call because there's like a class action lawsuit that's being filed against Roblox right now.
And so this is breaking news. You guys know that on this channel, we catch Roblox predators. And you guys also know that the person that gets us these dudes, his name is Schlep. He is a up and coming YouTuber. He makes fantastic videos, and he's also great at what he does, and that is finding, locating, and catching child predators on the Roblox app. Us working together, I believe we've caught 5 to 6 dudes, and I believe out of those 6 dudes, 5 of them have gotten arrested. I mean, the work we've done together has been amazing, but that is looking like it's about to end because Roblox just put out this cease and desist letter to him. He literally sent it to me yesterday. I was busy because it was the Sabbath, but now that it's over, we're going to go over this, y'all. It says,
I always find it very intriguing when people claim that they love kids and they're doing this for the kids and they care about children and children's safety, but yet you'll have situations like Cuties where they will claim as though they're making a work of art in the form of cinema to showcase the exploitation of children and what children are exposed to online, while ironically literally exploiting actual children in these roles to do the very thing that they claim they're fighting against. Even the person in this article said the same thing. She says, why the heck did they think that sexualizing children was okay? In the movie, they were supposed to be 11 years old. In real life, the kid actors are between 11 and 13 years old. I mean, whatever happened to the good old have a crush on a boy, kiss and move on? Why did they have to be half naked and dance sexually for the pleasure of who exactly? Can kids even watch this? I feel like the message could have been communicated in many other ways. And see, their message got lost in the fact that they actually exploited real children. If it had been a better storyline, it may have been acceptable, but I really didn't see a reason for children to be that way on screen. It's supposed to be about children imitating what they see on the internet, a child trying to fit in to two cultures, African and European, and an anti-child sexualization, but is fully about, I'll just call it spiciness, I don't want to trigger YouTube, without a clear justification. The director claims she did some research by asking preteens how they felt about their own femininity and how they dealt with self-image in the time of social media. I think this could have been communicated in a different way than how it was portrayed in the film, as I'm not really sure what message was passed through exactly. But yeah, it's not like in that film it was an anime character playing a child. These weren't cartoon versions of what kids were supposed to be. These weren't adults pretending to be children who actually look like kids so they could make the part believable. These were literal children that they used to put in these parts, doing these things, and having the camera in angles where they should not be on real children or little girls. And the parents, they gave the okay to this. And you have people trying to censor and shut down everybody else, like Collective Shout, who, when ironically, the person in charge, or one of the top people over there, supports and agrees with what Cuties did, and calls it a protest against the centralization of girls. I know what the word is, you can see it on the screen, but I don't want to make you too mad. You're saying the word too many times! It's so freaking stupid. I mean, you have platforms like YouTube that will claim, like, oh, we're trying to protect the children and protect people's identities, but have a kids platform literally for kids, and then put extreme restrictions on the adult platform for the kids. Like, then they will try to take information from everyone so you can prove that you're not a child, and I promise you that is not going to solve the problem, because what's going to end up happening, what it's going to end up doing is putting a lot of people, their identity at risk, which by proxy puts their children at risk. I know you can figure out what all of that means, and maybe I'll be generous and give you an example. So a father may be watching Disney reviews with his kids, and, they're having fun, and his account requires, if he's not a partner on YouTube, to now put his ID out there or whatever information they're asking for, which is super personal. He's uncomfortable with this, but then he's like, you know what, I want to watch Disney and Roblox videos with my kids, so why not? Sure. And then there's a breach. Even though Google is somewhat secure, you never really know. His information goes out there, it falls into the wrong hands, his identity is stolen or he's robbed, and now his kids suffer as a result. Or worse, someone finds out his information, goes to his house, attacks his family, and his kids suffer as a result, or much worse. I can also see it being used as a means to try and control and threaten people so that you can't have a way to express yourself without a hammer coming down on you and taking away your livelihood. So now, if you're suffering or you say something and want to complain about the government and what's happening, about the injustices against you or your family, you can no longer say that, especially if the person you're criticizing is part of a group of people that have extreme power over the populace, and you're not allowed to say anything bad about them. Slippery slope. I don't think people should be reactionary only when things get bad, but I think people should have foresight enough to recognize patterns and when things will eventually become bad and try to stop it before it gets to that point. You know how like people, they play around with the AI stuff and they're like, hey, maybe not kick that robot, maybe not abuse the AI, because you never know. All those cautionary tales with those movies could happen. They're trying to prevent that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get where people are coming from. I also think it's important to keep corporations, authority figures, studios, and other bodies of power in check when they start pushing boundaries, trying to see what they can get away with, especially if it puts people in danger and involves protecting actual criminals. I think it's important to note also that if you have one group of power who's doing something wrong and you excuse them, you can't whataboutism. You should hold everyone to equal regard. Now we have people coming forward to try and sue Roblox, which, you know what? Good on them. Because Roblox could have said, hey, we're working on the problem, which they probably did, and then didn't do jack, which is why people started getting up and trying to do something. But then they just had to go after people who were trying to deal with the problem themselves, since Roblox didn't really seem to be doing anything with it. It's also weird how this is the same platform that is planning on including a dating feature for ID verified users 21 and older. And I don't know, why would you make a platform that is strictly and majority aimed towards kids take that kind of pivot? That's just weird to me, especially knowing the rampant issue with what's going on. Like, I played Minecraft and I love it, and the only reason I even started to go on Roblox recently was because of a game called Creatures of Scenaria. I love this game to pieces, and I'm actually looking for heart piles. I really hope they're still working on that game, because it's supposed to be like an even better version or something, and I spent so much money on Creatures of Scenaria, and I love it because you get to play as all these different kinds of animals, and you will in heart piles as well. It's basically the same thing, where you could just exist, and it's actually right up my alley. Kind of reminds me of Pandora from Avatar. I don't have any friends on there, and I don't need any friends. My only thing is I make little documentaries for the animal adventures, and I'm playing, and it's so fun. It really is so fun. And I also love that people are playing as the other animals, and they literally have to hunt you, and you have to fight for your life and become skilled at fighting and surviving. It's really cool. I love that about it. I love when a specific person is playing as this big dragon thing, and I'm a little velociraptor creature, and they're hunting me, and the entire map, they're just following me, and no matter where I hide, they keep finding me and griefing me. I absolutely love it. People claim they don't like being griefed. I enjoy it. I welcome it. And it was very refreshing to play that game, and that's the only reason I joined Roblox to begin with. I didn't even realize up until very recently when I started playing that game that Roblox wasn't just a game. It was basically a platform where different people could play different games or make different games to put up there like itch.io. I had no idea. I thought literally Roblox was like Minecraft, but like a dumber version, and I never knew that this is what it was. But yeah, I wasn't interested in it before the Alien game came out, and I think that it's really cool because you can garner a lot of community, and I understand it's not just kids that play it, but I do also understand that a big swath of the games on there and the platform itself does appeal to kids. Like, I never thought of myself being like, okay, I'm gonna go on Roblox now. Like, I never actually thought there would come a day when I would say that. I don't even say, hey, I'm gonna go play some Roblox. That sounds so weird. I say I'm gonna go play Creatures of Scenaria, because it's literally the only game I play on there. And I'll put up some footage of me playing with my little fox creature here while I talk about this, because it's actually really disturbing, because I went into one of those like areas where people, there's like a little watering hole area in the desert where a lot of people like go around. I don't know why they all go around there. But anyway, you have all these people by the pool, these animals are around the watering hole, and there's a little cave area off the section of the canyon, and I'm a little tiny animal, so I don't think they noticed me, but there were two people, and I just assumed they were a couple or something. And they were being really, like, weird and kind of weird and romantic. And they role play, which is something I would probably do with my husband or friends in the past, where we would pretend as though we're the animals and we're breeding or fighting for territory or, you know, partnership. And we're essentially actors. And it's like a little escape because we actually are the animals. We used to do that all the time. It's very fun. But because I was aware that Roblox is primarily targeted towards kids, it's like marketed as a kid platform. It's not like it was one of those platforms that all the kids started going on like Rust. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, you're clearly not supposed to be here. This is for adults and kids just happen to be playing it. It is a kid platform. It's marketed towards them. So it was very weird because like I walked away, and especially after they realized I was there, they both went quiet. And they were just staring at me. And when you speak in Roblox, like if you're talking to people, like I guess they're talking to each other, there's a chat thing that you can also kind of see what people are saying over their head thing or whatever. And they just stopped because I thought they were going to kill me or something, but it crossed my mind and I thought, damn, I really hope those two people are consenting adults or people of the same age or something, because how easy would it be for a freaking predator to pretend to be a child just so he could role play, knowing kids would be into that? That's really disturbing. And the fact that a lot of people nowadays just let their kids, very young, impressionable kids, go on these platforms without any supervision whatsoever is just jaw-droppingly crazy to me. You have no idea who's saying what to your kids, what your kids are watching. What if your kids are giving them your information? Like, people like to say, well, it's this person's fault, they should do this. No, you should be watching what your kids are doing. And you know, I think there is, I don't know if it was on Roblox or it was another game, but there was a man, a grown-ass man that showed up to a little girl's house, and her mother, I think, opened the door. I was trying to find the video for this video, but I couldn't find it. And anyway, it was a video on YouTube, and the mother opened the door and was like, who the hell are you? And he had the audacity to show up there. And he was so dumb. He even said, oh, I met so-and-so, the little girl's name, on this game, and I came over to play, like, just have a play session. And the mother's asking him, like, play with what? Oh, just the game that we're friends on the game or whatever. And she was like, sorry about that. Yeah, she was like, how old are you? Like, and he was like 30-something. And the little girl was like 8. And she gave her address and phone number to this fuck. People are not raising their kids right. I'm not saying that kids still don't do things out of rebellion or ignorance, but it is so important for kids, especially nowadays, to be supervised and, more importantly, taught the dangers of the digital age. I was lucky. My mother, lucky is one of those words, right? My mother didn't really teach me really, because she was kind of absent from my life for a huge portion of my childhood. And my dad didn't, because, he was working and, he lived in a nice area. When it came to digital stuff, I think my parents were pretty ignorant. But I knew even as a little girl, I don't want people knowing this information. I want to protect my family. Maybe that's partly because of the fear my mom, put in me, and anyone coming over was just very uncomfortable. But yeah, I was extra cautious because I also saw... Sorry, I'm watching this one beat the shit out of these people. I'm sorry. Getting distracted. What was I saying? Yeah, I saw what happened to other people and I learned from that. Now, though, it's so much easier, because what if that little kid's parents had not been home? That's what I keep thinking about when I saw that video. My blood ran cold, because what if? I mean, one of the people who preyed on me, thank goodness nothing happened too bad. I think I talked about it before. I'm pretty open about this stuff that I talk about on here when it comes to stuff that happened to me when I was little, because I know that other people are going through the same thing. And I didn't say jack to my mom or my family until I was almost ready to move out and stuff. And then a boyfriend of mine forced me into talking about it with my mother. But yeah, I wanted to give people the courage to know, hey, there's other people out there. You're not alone. I just wanted to, that's why I do this. It's kind of like, hey, this doesn't affect me the way that it affects a lot of people. I am affected by it, but I want people to know they're not alone. And also parents who are watching to understand how these things happen to me, why they happen to me, and how you can protect your kids and avoid that happening. But there was this UPS guy who used to come around, and in my little girl brain, I was only 10 or 12, and this guy was 40. But I thought he was really cute, just being honest. Super handsome Italian guy with the brightest blue eyes I have ever seen. Really dark hair, great smile. And because of what happened to me, I still am attracted to much older guys. And I think that's where the whole thing with grooming came in, because monsters will prey on children as young as possible to kind of prime them and to receive this kind of behavior and not think anything of it. So he always used to hug me extra tight. And I don't want to say the nickname that he called me, because if he's watching it, he's not still in jail or something. He probably will figure out it's me, unless he called a bunch of other little girls that. But yeah, I remember feeling so special and looking forward to whenever he'd come over. And one of the times, he always asked if my mom was home. I would always say, oh, she's sleeping to go to work, because she worked as a registered nurse, at night. And one of the times, none of my parents were home. And he asked me again, oh, where are your folks at? And I said, oh, mommy and daddy aren't home. And he asked if he could come in just for a little bit. And I let him inside, because I was a fucking idiot. I was ignorant. I was a kid. I didn't know. And I mean, maybe there was something inside of me that was nervous, because I knew I shouldn't be letting him in, should I? But it's him, it's this person. And he's nice to me. I don't know. But because I had a crush on him, I could tell he was really nervous too, because he was kind of shaking a little bit. Mind you, this guy is still in his UPS uniform, everything. He's still on his UPS run. He's literally on the clock. Brown truck still parked outside in my house, in front of our driveway. So he closes the door. We're still at the front door. He hasn't come all the way in the house. His back is still up against the front door. And he leans in to hug me, picks me up, and then kisses me on my neck. I'm like 12. And he smiles at me and then asks me for a kiss on the lips. Wasn't super inappropriate or anything. He didn't it didn't go all the way. It was just a peck or whatever. And he told me I was beautiful. And that was it for the most part. And then he said, when he put me down, that he said, oh, he always looks forward to seeing me. And, I felt so special. Like, he would always say nice things to me, or sometimes he'd bring me little gifts or whatever. Meanwhile, my parents don't know any of this. The first time, my mom thought he was a nice guy. I don't think I ever told her about that particular person because nothing fully happen. But yeah, she was smiling at him. He's super friendly to her. Everyone loved him. Oh yeah, he's a good guy, whatever. But yeah, I felt so special. He made me feel so special. My heart was beating so fast. But I guess he had to go because he didn't want to look suspicious. We were already in the room, the house for 5 minutes, 6, 7, I don't know how long it was. But yeah, his truck is parked out there too long. Doors closed. Little girl inside let him in. Now, I don't know for certain. I don't have any confirmation. I tried to find out and I couldn't because there's a million people with this Italian last name and it is what it is. A lot of Italians have that same first name as well. I couldn't find him. I was just curious, oh, what happened to him? Because he must be on a list or something. But when the next UPS guy came over, the next run, I saw this other UPS guy, much older guy, and he was very polite, but not as friendly as the other guy was. And I asked him, I was so excited. I said, oh, where's so-and-so? I haven't seen him in a while. And I said his name, and the man just had this weird aura about him. He kind of raised his eyebrows, rolled his eyes to the ground, oh boy, that kind of expression. He's like, yeah, you're probably not going to be seeing him anymore. That's how he said it. But the way he said it and the expression on his face told me that I think he got caught. It wasn't just, oh, he got fired or, oh, he quit. And I think he got caught. And I don't think I was the only kid he was doing it with, clearly. Because that's the thing with predators. They don't just prey on one if they have the opportunity. They will, as many opportunities as they can, even when there is none, they will present one, especially when they have access. That's part of the challenge. It's a game for them. That's why they're predators. They literally hunt their prey. One of my uncles was one of these people. Luckily, he got deported. And guess what? He doesn't take accountability for his actions whatsoever. He has done it to people in here in America, and he went back to our country when he got deported. Guess what? He did the same thing over there, and he went to jail. He got out, kept doing the same thing after he went to jail. And I'm sad to say, one of those little girls was his daughter, his own flesh and blood, fully blooded daughter. Thank goodness she's no longer with him. She's now in the States. She's safe, kinda. And there's a situation going on. She's getting help. My mom's helping out, and my mom actually cut off full contact with my uncle, as she should have. There's just a lot of trauma going on, and people don't realize the harm that happens when children are exposed to these things. Some is worse than others. I'm sharing this because if there are parents watching, I know that as I told my mom, Mom, I don't blame you. You couldn't have known. She felt horrible. Same thing also happened to her. It's just this thing, and people don't know what to look for. And you parents, you're thinking, oh, everybody's safe. Oh, this is my brother. He would never, nobody ever thinks that their family member or a friend or someone that you know and see every single day for years is going to be the one to do that to your baby. And even though those things happen to me, I don't think I have it as bad as a lot of the people I've talked to or a lot of people out there, because some of it might have been seen as violent on my end, what happened. But I know there are other people where it's so much worse, and you don't know. It's so sickening to me, though. That's why, I have a personal dog in this fight, because I cannot believe that these companies will stand behind the criminals because that's exactly what you're doing for money, or because they're afraid people will find out stuff they have in their closet. I'm not sure. I'm not saying they are or they're not, but that's kind of the vibe that you give off when you're protecting the criminals this hard. If you don't want people to do or perform civic duty, I understand. But then you must have a way in place to accomplish what the civilians are trying to do, because they feel as though you're not protecting their children. You want them on your platform, but you're not protecting their children. You know, like, I mean, they can only do so much. But if you allow these things blatantly and parents are like, hey, by the way, I'm surveilling my kid and this is what's happening. And you're like, oh dear, that's so sad. Anyways, what do you expect to happen? A lot of these people that are also speaking out about this, like me, have gone through situations like this, maybe not through Roblox, but by other means, like the story that I shared to you. You might not even think, like, last thing people are probably thinking is, oh, wow, now I gotta be worried about the freaking UPS guy? Worry about everybody. Yes, it could be anybody. It could be a freaking priest. It could be someone very close to you. You trust me. I'm not trying to strike fear into people. I don't want to do that. What I'm trying to do is, hey, be aware of your children. Don't just let anybody babysit your kids. Like, there are a million and one ways for monsters to come after your children. Sometimes it's your family. Like I said, sometimes it's the UPS guy. Sometimes it's a teacher. Please, for the love of God, teach your children to speak up. I didn't speak up. I laid there and I took it through the pain. I kept my mouth shut, and I would have taken it to my grave had my boyfriend not forced me, and because of his trauma and us sharing that, had he not been like, hey, Mrs. So-and-so, your daughter has something to tell you. Thanks for that, by the way. Very appreciative of that. And I can't even fully be mad at him. It wasn't his place to do that. I did not appreciate that. But I understand where he was coming from. But yeah, you gotta be super careful, guys. Like, especially now with things being geared towards AI and everything becoming digital and subscription-based, you know? And then people will say, well, then wouldn't the ID thing, requesting people for the ID be a way to combat that? I would say, yeah, it would, but we wouldn't have to be here in this situation had there already been measures in place to take care of situations like the rampant stuff that's happening on Roblox. If there was everything being done to protect the civilians and children and being super strict with these kind of crimes, we wouldn't need to go to the extreme. People wouldn't feel as though now they have to do civic duty and vigilante justice because someone's taking care of it. This only happens when people who claim they're trying to protect you are not taking care of it. But you see, I think in some cases with certain companies, they allow stuff to happen like this as an excuse to say, or so they can say like, oh, well, see, this is the problem. And now to solve it, we're going to need all your identification online. It's kind of like a double purpose. Say you want something, you want something else and you can't just ask for it. So you put it under the guise of some other problem that you could have solved some other way, but you let it happen so you can achieve the other thing you wanted. I'm watching Spartacus right now because the House of Asher is coming out, and my husband wanted me to sit down and watch it, and I've always wanted to watch Spartacus anyway, so spoilers for Spartacus if you haven't seen the original actual Spartacus. But yeah, I finished the episode where, and I don't know why I thought that Batiatus was a kind, decent person. I mean, the man owned slaves. I mean, the dude is making money off of the suffering of his gladiators, but this is Batiatus, and he is the owner of the gladiators of House Ludus, whatever. The main character had his wife Suda taken away. The main character is originally called another name, and I forgot what it was, but his name is now Spartacus. Yeah, his wife was taken away from him, and he was sold into slavery just for being honorable. It's now he's begging this guy called the Dominus, which is a slave owner, essentially of the gladiators, if he could find his wife or who she was sold to. The Dominus kept his word, though through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But this evil bitch, his wife, is like, you can't control him if you give him what he wants. Because God forbid a man be happy. He's basically saying if you give him his wife, the thing he's been fighting for, the thing that gave him his motivation, the only thing that matters to him, you can't control him because then he'll have her, which doesn't make sense to me personally because then you can kind of hold her over his head. But Spartacus, as much as I like his character, he's pretty, whatever, his character is pretty stupid and impulsive and dumb. And no disrespect to the actor who played him because I think the actor passed away during the filming or in between filming, and it's very, very sad. And I think his legend will always live on with the role he played here because he did a really kick-ass job. So respect to him. But I'm talking about Spartacus's character specifically. So yeah, he is very impulsive and dumb and has gotten himself into issues. So the Dominus took his wife's advice, and guess what he did? He allowed Spartacus here, his wife, to come. And he can literally, Dominus here sent for her, paid for her, what have you. But guess what he also did? Spoilers! He had bandits or someone attack the carriage that was carrying her on the road. And, oh my god, this is very sad. But by the time she reached the Dominus's house and Spartacus got to be reunited with his wife, it was too late. And she was already on death's doorstep. God damn it, man. I'm getting somewhere with this. It's just I just saw this episode at the time of this video, so it's still raw for me. But yeah, and he only got to hold her long enough to see her die in his arms. I'm going somewhere with this. But in this way, the Dominus kept his word as a man so that Spartacus could keep respecting him because he kept his word, and he gets rid of the problem, which is Spartacus getting what he wants without looking like the bad guy and pretending as though he's on his side. That really made me lose a lot of respect. I mean, I know it sounds stupid, he's a slave owner, but I was kind of feeling bad for him because this bitch-ass wife of his was cheating on him. Even though they have a kind of weird, like, it's not weird, it's kind of like open-ish relationship as long as they both partake. But she was partaking without him here. But now I don't care. Now I hope he dies. It's all about business and money for him and his reputation. And that kind of feels like a lot of what's happening with these platforms. They have a sneaky way of trying to do things and then they try to make it seem as though, oh, it's for the children, when we know damn well it's not. Because if you go against what they're saying when they use the excuse they're just doing this for the kids, it makes you look bad. It makes me look bad because, how dare we go against what they're doing for the precious children when we know damn well that they're only hiding behind that excuse as a means to get what they want, which is to gain more power over everyone, including your children. So I just hope people are alive and eyes open for this kind of stuff, which they seem to be, because if nobody holds these gigantic corporations in check, they're just going to keep taking and taking, and trust me, they will never be quenched.
Just can't ever be quenched. Your fantasies can't ever be quenched, can they?
So I just thought I'd make a video about it too, because more people need to be aware of it, just in case nobody was aware of what was going on. And I'm actually in the middle of doing that gigantic review for Jurassic World Rebirth, or Death, or whatever, which I have to put a lot of animations in because of the whole copyright bot thing also claiming some of my footage as well. So I don't know, dude. But what do you guys think about the whole situation, and what do you think can be done as a means to protect kids? Like, we can say that their parents are responsible for them. We shouldn't have to deal with that. Yeah, I do think, yes, the majority of the responsibility does lie on those parents. And I think that if something happens in most cases and the parents were negligent, then they should be held liable for what happens to the kids in certain situations. So yeah, I do think some of that should fall back on them. But on the flip side, these corporations, if they're saying, hey, come use our platform for children, they need to be held fully responsible, because you're basically telling parents, hey, our platform we want your kids, we want your money, your kids are safe here, come play over here. And you have freaking predators on the front yard. Like, I think you need to be held accountable for that as well. On another note, I think we need to start going back to being really hard on criminals instead of, I don't know, protecting them, especially openly. It's a really bad look. And there is nothing that will send people into a tizzy more than you either going after their offspring or knowing that there are other things going after their offspring and defending those things indirectly or directly.